Welcome to a new planetary and seismic update. On the SHI graph with magnitude 5.5 larger earthquakes, we see the two clusters that I mentioned earlier. They coincided with the lunar peaks, and early this morning we had a magnitude 5.7 coinciding with the first planetary conjunction involving Venus as the purple peak. And if we look at the map, this is interesting development here, the 5.7 here in Japan, and at the same time within several hours we see increased seismic activity further down the Bonin Islands and here in the south of the Mariana Trench, also magnitude 5 earthquakes. This all happened within several hours. An obvious seismic increase here in the West Pacific, peaking 5.7 in Western Honshu, Japan. And like I said earlier, the magnitude 8.8 earthquake in Kamchatka last July considerably changed the stress distribution in the region, and we should be concerned about the region to the south, Tokyo, and further south the Nankai Trough. Just recently we had two magnitude 6 earthquakes in Taiwan, but the area in between has been relatively quiet, and now we see the 5.7 here. There could be larger seismic activity coming up in that area. The Nankai Trough is capable of producing large earthquakes, and the authorities in Japan have already issued multiple warnings recently about that potential. Back to the SGI graph, we see lunar peaks coming up later today, tomorrow. This is semi-right angle geometry involving the quintuple conjunction that is coming up from the 6th to the 11th. And that lunar geometry can produce considerable seismic activity like mid to high 6 following that peak that would be later on the 7th or on the 8th. And there we have the second planetary conjunction involving Venus as well. So if we look at the solar system, we see this near quintuple conjunction coming up. This is from the 6th to the 11th, producing 9 planetary conjunctions in total, like Sun, Venus, Mars, and Venus, Sun, Earth, and then Venus, Sun, Jupiter, and then Sun, Earth, Jupiter. There will be a combination of planetary conjunctions, 9 in total from the 6th to the 11th. And if you look carefully, we also see the moon here coming by, and that is going to make a 45-degree geometry with Jupiter, and almost at the same time 135 degrees with Venus and with Mars. And that is going to be the critical element in this configuration. From another angle we see the same geometry. Earth is almost on that red line, on the conjunction, but not quite, so it isn't really exact. It is a near quintuple conjunction. Mercury is considerably off here, is not going to be part of that conjunction. That's a key difference really. And then we have Venus and Mars here. This is really tight with the Sun, and then Earth is coming about, moving about 1 degree per day. So it is pretty tight. And like I said, from the 6th to the 11th, that's going to be critical. And if we go by the lunar geometry, like I said, the semi-right angle geometry here, that can trigger an increased seismic activity, obvious increased seismic activity. And then we have the second lunar peak. That will be the moon in conjunction with Saturn and Neptune. And that can also trigger increased seismic activity. So overall, this convergence of planetary and lunar geometry can trigger increased seismic activity, especially from approximately the 7th to the 9th and 10th. I think that is the most critical time that we should be on high alert for potential larger seismic activity. Could go well into the 7 magnitude range, and in a worst case scenario, it may even reach high 7 or maybe borderline 8 magnitude. That's the critical geometry that's coming up. Be on watch in the coming days. Check out the website for the latest updates, and also social media like X and Facebook, where we post additional updates. Stay safe everyone. Until next time.